You may have realized that being healthy feels different than it did in the past now that you're over 50. If you want to maximize your health potential but don't have time to read through overwhelming pages of Google links, this is the show for you. Welcome to Healthy Tips After 50. We love doing the research, finding solutions, talking to health experts, and learning what works and what doesn't. Now, your host. She spent the last 25 years dedicated to feeling her best and is here to share her best findings with you, Susan Rosen.
Hello, everyone. This is your host, Susan Rosen. And today's podcast is not one of my longer ones, but it's, got some good information in it. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to talk about vegetarian and vegan diets. And there are so many different diets around, as we know. There's, you eat all of this one food or you do this other one. People get confused about what the differences are across all of these different diets. And today I thought I'd walk through the difference between a vegetarian diet plan and a vegan diet plan and all the rest. So vegetarians eat vegetables, fruits, grains, and nuts. Some of them also eat eggs and or dairy products. A lacto-ovo vegetarian eats eggs and dairy. Lacto vegetarians eat eggs, but not dairy. And there are pescatarians who don't eat meat or poultry, but they do eat fish, along with all of the plant-based foods. A vegan's diet is entirely plant-based. They don't eat anything from an animal, and they don't buy and or use anything typically that is made of or exploits animals, such as food or clothing. Other than health benefits, which we'll talk about, a vegan diet also impacts the environment through the reduction of water use and greenhouse gases that the huge agricultural sector creates, as well as protecting our oceans and oceanic habitats. Many people choose to go vegan specifically for these environmental reasons or because of their opposition to the treatment and living conditions that most animals are raised in and or, to put it bluntly, killed in. The health benefits of a vegan diet in particular can lower the risk of and or prevent altogether a range of chronic diseases which are nutrition related. Diseases like heart and kidney disease, obesity, stroke, diabetes, and some cancers. One of the myths about veganism is that you can't get an adequate amount of protein from a plant-based diet. And that really isn't true. But, and it's an important but, you need to become educated about what kind of protein is in what kinds of foods. And you also need, especially at the beginning, to pay more attention to what you eat and in what combinations. And you can find a lot of that information in a lot of the different books that are out about veganism or vegetarianism. In addition, physically active, as in aerobic and strength exercises, like going to the gym or out running, the people who do those kinds of activities, as well as those of us over 50, usually need to consume more protein than the normal, quote-unquote, protein needs. For those who are physically active, it's because they're burning up more calories and expending more energy through their exercising. Whereas for those of us who are over 50, we are not as efficient in getting the protein and other nutrients from our food, so we need to consume more protein. And if you do both, if you're over 50 and you are also active, then again, you definitely need to get more protein than the normal amounts. Some of the high protein foods include nuts, beans, soy, seeds, and whole grains. These are the ones that would be on a vegetarian and or vegan diet. One of my favorite foods is tofu. I love tofu. I love the texture of it. And in a stir fry with lots of vegetables, oh, so yummy. It picks up all the flavors from the veggies and the spices and the oil that you use. Ooh, Ooh, yummy. Okay, enough of that. You can tell I may be hungry. It must be dinner time. The related myth is that you can't get all of the nutrients you need from a vegan diet. And this is not true. As with any kind of diet, you need to pay attention to what you eat, how much, and you need to be educated on how to cover all of the bases for your nutrients. The hardest to get is probably going to be B12, as that is found mostly in animal products, but there are supplements that you can find that are vegan or vegetarian, and use those instead. Much easier. Something that is attractive about a vegan diet and lifestyle is that because plants typically have fewer calories, you can eat a lot more plant-based food than on other healthy diets without gaining a lot of extra weight. Needless to say, you still have to watch out for high sugar foods like some kinds of desserts, candy, fruits, alcohol. Don't forget the alcohol. But the fats are not as hard to digest, aren't full of saturated fats, and most are good for you, like olive oil and avocados. But remember that French fries are still not a health food unless they're made with sweet potatoes or yams and some kind of healthy oil. And you have to be careful with that because some oils are not good if they are used at high temperature, such as doing frying. So be sure and check into those. Another myth is that a vegan or vegetarian diet is bland and boring, and that is totally untrue. It is possible to cook very attractive and wonderful tasting vegan and vegetarian food, and it's really more dependent on the cook than the food itself, I have found. I've been to many vegetarian and vegan restaurants that had incredibly wonderful food. In fact, some of our favorite restaurants have been vegan or vegetarian and still are. The best part is you don't feel stuffed or bloated or heavy when you get done either. If you are interested in trying out a vegetarian or vegan diet, you can ease into it slowly and see how you like it. Many of us have already moved partially in that direction, and an easy start is to change the milk you use for your cereal, coffee, so on and so forth. Start using soy milk, almond milk, coconut milk, or one of the other plant-based milks that are on the market instead of cow's milk or goat milk. You can get any of those milks straight, in other words, no added sugar or flavors like vanilla or chocolate. Personally, that's how I like it. I also buy organic. That, again, is your own choice. Your best bet is to read the ingredients first and then compare and decide which one you want to try. I would also suggest that you only buy one carton of a particular kind because then you can try it and you may not like it and you haven't invested that much. You can also try a couple of them at that point and different flavors before you settle on maybe one or even two to use. Another suggestion I have seen is to pick a day of the week to go plant-based, or you can pick a particular meal like lunch for a week. Or maybe you're one of those people who likes to go all in when they try something new. In that case, maybe pick a week to try it out and see how it goes. I also, as I mentioned earlier, would suggest getting some kind of a book or recipe book, or find something online, find a website that specializes in vegan or vegetarian food and use some of the recipes on there, because that'll kind of jumpstart you and you'll know that it's something that other people have enjoyed, and it will make it go a lot easier for you too, I think. Let me know what you end up doing. I'm really interested. And if you find any great recipes, please let me know that as well. Even if you don't go totally vegan or vegetarian, just doing it for 1 to 2 days a week can improve your health and help you lose weight if that's something that is important. So that's it for this week's podcast. Hope you're all staying well. And as usual, let me say that this is not medical advice. I am not a doctor. And if you are having any kinds of medical issues, please go and see your own doctor or to the emergency room if that's appropriate. That's it for me for today. I will be looking forward to talking to all of you next week.
This has been Healthy Tips After 50 with Susan Rosen. To stay on the cutting edge of the most effective health strategies, subscribe to this podcast and let us know what you thought of the show with a comment or like on iTunes. Visit healthytipsafter50.com for this episode's show notes, more resources, and free offers.